What's that?
This is serious stuff.
Moved by Councillor Rowland, seconded by Councillor Moffat. Resolved that the regular meeting commence at the hour of 7 p.m. And be it further resolved that Council acknowledges that we're meeting in the Robinson Superior Treaty Area on lands that have been traditionally used by several Indigenous nations. But we would like to pay special recognition to our closest Indigenous neighbors, the communities of Bittugan, Nishnabek, and Pickmobert First Nations. We wish to recognize the long history of the First Nations and Métis people in our region specifically and show respect to them today. All in favor? Thank you. I'll call the meeting to order, and you have some additions?
Yes, there are 2 additions to the agenda. Addition to business, item 12-04, Administrative Report CS 2022-04, submitted by Katie Law, Director of Community and Economic Development, regarding the Community Improvement Plan 2022 Program Intake Update. Addition to bylaws, item 13-03, being a bylaw to enter into a contribution agreement with the Federal Economic Development Agency for Northern Ontario, as represented by the Minister of Indigenous Services and Minister responsible for the Federal Economic Development Agency for Northern Ontario Tourism Relief Fund.
Is there any declaration of peculiar interest, Nate? Seeing none, we'll move to the approval of agenda. Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Scampanello. Resolved that the agenda be approved as amended. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Scampanello, seconded by Councillor Rolla. Resolved that the 2021 annual report of the Board of Directors outlining the activities of Manitowoc Municipal Housing Corporation and the future goals be approved. Are we ready for a presentation?
We're ready.
Okay, thank you.
Is the mic on, Jolene?
Yes.
Good evening, Council. Thank you for meeting with us, and we'll have our yearly shareholders meeting as just for information for the community and people watching. We have one shareholder, and it's the Township of Manitowoc. And we meet yearly and give a report of what's been going on. I will turn it over now to our manager, Rita LeBay, and she'll be happy to give you a little briefing, and if you have any questions, she'll be happy to answer them for you.
Like I do every year, I've provided a report along with our financial statements that are prepared by Grant Thornton. I don't want to say that we're out of the woods with COVID, but things have been challenging, but I feel that we have been managing quite fine. We've still been able to do quite a bit of improvements to our buildings and still maintain a surplus. We've come a long way from where we started, where we were in a huge deficit, and we've been able to maintain a surplus every year and continue to make that grow. We have, in just this year, the month of May, paid off one of our main projects, the mortgage. So out of the 4 mortgages, we're down to 3. So that's a huge success for municipal housing. And we continue to move forward. Our vacancy is 0. We have huge wait lists, which I'm sure other landlords in the community can attest to. It's a huge concern for the community. And I don't know if anybody else has any questions.
Through the chair, just wondering, is there any prospect or thought of more buildings?
There was, And I think it's something that municipal housing should look towards in the future. But unfortunately, any funding that was a possibility, people had to be shovel ready, and we were not. You have to have stuff ready to go, but it's something that I do think that Manitowoc Municipal Housing should look, and or the municipality, or maybe in conjunction with, should look towards the future, because there is funding out there, and there will be funding available.
I think that's something we definitely should,
Talk about.
yeah,
Yes.
look at or talk about or.
Because there was funding, but there are programs out there that were ready. They had their stuff ready to go. So the funding went to them.
Okay, well, let's get ready.
And we do have property that we own that would be perfect for an apartment building.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions? The only question I have is, are we maintaining the ratios that the province expects, like the percentage of?
Absolutely. Right now, our ratio is 61 high need RGI and 15 market.
Okay.
That was easy.
Anything more you'd like to add?
If nobody else has any other questions, then
I think that's pretty well in.
thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
And further be approved and accepted. All in favor? Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing that now, yeah. Moved by Councilor Rolla, second by Councilor Moffat. Resolved that the audited financial statement for the Manitowoc Municipal Housing Corporation for the year ending December 31st, 2021 be approved as accepted. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councilor Moffat, seconded by Councilor Scampanel. Resolved that the following persons be elected as directors of Manitowoc Municipal Housing Corporation to hold office until the next annual election of directors or until their successors are elected or appointed, subject to the provisions of the Manitowoc Municipal Housing Corporation bylaws. Donna John Zarens, chairperson. Lisa Jompe, vice chairperson. Natalie Shigon, director. Kathy Hudson, director. And Dave Arola, director. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councilor Scampanella, seconded by Councilor Rolla. Resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held June 22nd, 2022 be adopted as circulated. All in favor? There are no petitions. There's one correspondence item. We want to bring it down, or is it okay? Moved by Councilor Rolla, seconded by Councilor Moffat. Resolved that correspondence item number 08-01 be received and filed. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councilor Scampanella, seconded by Councilor Moffat. Resolved that the Thunder Bay District Social Service Administration Board 2021 audited consolidated financial statement be accepted as received. All in favor? Next item is a report by our CAO.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, a couple of updates for you. Just keeping you apprised on the situation with the pool. So we did have an individual come in to assess the condition of the pool, and we are awaiting a new pump replacement to come in before we can move forward with any other troubleshooting. for the pool. So that is delayed, and I don't believe we have a date expected for the part. Darren, do you know? No date. So we'll continue to keep you updated. We did, as you know, have a number of individuals do training for lifeguards. And so we've worked with the individuals to hire them in other areas of the municipalities. So I believe we've hired 3 of the students who we trained as lifeguards. So they are still working for us. So if we get the pool up and running, they will return to the pool to work. We're happy to report that the playground project is about 95% complete. It is open and the kids are using it, so if you get a chance to go by and have a look, it's being well used. We have AMO coming up in Ottawa, August 14th to 17th. We did submit 3 requests for delegations with ministers, and we're awaiting response back on whether those will be approved. But the requests were to the Ministry of Northern Development and Mines to discuss our grant application for the rec center under their funding program, the NOHFC. To the Ministry of the Environment to lobby the minister to provide us with assistance on the Suncor property on Nebig and Adjula. And to the Minister of Energy with the Conservatives being re-elected to the provincial government, they did state that they would have a new round of the natural gas expansion program funding, and so this would be an opportunity to lobby the minister to reconsider our application from the 5 municipalities to assist with the high cost of heating in Manitowoc. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you very much. Moved by Councillor Scampanella, second by Councillor Rolla. Resolved that Council has received Manitowoc Fire Department request to appoint Gary Abbott to the Joint Health and Safety Committee as representative for the Manitowoc Fire Department. Any questions about that? Or okay. And further, that Council approves the appointment of Gary Abbott as the Manitowoc Fire Department representative for the Township's Health and Safety Committee. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Moffat, second by Councillor Scampanella. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report, FD Monthly Report 2022-05, submitted by Don Kruger, Fire Chief, regarding the Fire Department's monthly report, May 2022. You're on, sir.
Good evening, through the chair. I'm just happy to answer any questions if there are any about the monthly report.
Okay.
To the chair. Just a question about your Friday events. How is that going? How is that being seen by the community?
Thank you for the question. Actually, I would say it's going quite well. I've had a fairly steady stream of visitors both Fridays that I've done it so far, which has been nice. Handed out a couple of applications for the fire department during it, and it's also allowed me to spend some time in the fire hall doing some cleaning. So that's I'm quite happy with how it's going, and we'll hopefully it continues to go as well as it has so far.
Okay, perfect.
Further questions? And further, the Council received the Fire Chief's monthly report as presented. All in favor? Thank you. That was easy. Moved by Councillor Rolla, second by Councillor Moffat. Resolved that Council is in receipt of Administration Report TR 2022-05 submitted by Chris Towns, Treasurer, regarding the Q2 2022 Accumulated Expense Report.
I'll present the report on behalf of Chris. So, as you're aware, we are providing Council with financial information on a quarterly basis. So this is the second quarter report, which gives you a good view of where we are halfway through the year. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Looks like we have no questions. Thank you. That was easy. And further, the council approves the Quarter 2 2022 accumulated expense report as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Scampanella, seconded by Councillor Moffat. Resolved that council is in receipt of administration report CS 2022-04 submitted by Katie Law, Director of Community and Economic Development, regarding the Community Improvement Plan 2022 Program Intake Update.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, I'll present Katie's report on her behalf. So you'll recall that we presented the Community Improvement Program to Council back in May and started to advertise to the downtown businesses that there were programs available for their opportunity to upgrade facades or signage, in even doing murals on outside walls. We have not had any applications from downtown businesses, but we have had applications from businesses outside of the downtown. So this request is to open up the program to all businesses in Manitouwadge, regardless of where they're located, and also to residents in the downtown, residents in the community for several programs that they would be eligible for as well. We do have $25,000 in the budget for this year, so it would be good to see some of that money spent on projects for revitalizing the community.
Chair, the part on the houses or the individuals.
Yes.
What are they like? Is that for home-based businesses? Are you talking, or is that for everyday, like just
residential properties?
Yeah, residential.
Yeah.
Properties.
So the two programs that would be eligible for residential properties are the Lot Landscaping Improvement Program, which is up to $500 or 50% of the project costs. Okay. And then also the Building and Planning Fee Grant Program. So if they needed a building permit, they could make an application to have those fees waived in order to do their enhancements. So we're asking that residents as well as businesses be able to participate in the program.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Okay. And further, that council approves the opening the community improvement program to all businesses operating in Manitouwadge as well as residents. And further, that council approves the businesses in the downtown core continue to be eligible for the program. And further, the council directs staff to immediately market all programs available. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Scampanella, seconded by Councillor Rolla. Being a bylaw to enter into an agreement with Her Majesty the Queen in right of Ontario as represented by the Minister of Infrastructure for the Investment in Canada Infrastructure Program, ICIP, Green Stream, Transfer Payment Agreement, be read a first and second time.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. As you're aware, we did receive funding approval from both the federal and provincial governments to relocate the sewer and water infrastructure on Manitou from the back lane onto Manitou Street, Manitou Road. And that would include right up to the roundabout, so improvements to the roundabout as well. The grant is in the amount of $3,652,000, and with the municipal contribution, it's a $5 million project. So we have to enter into an agreement with both the province and the federal government to access that funding. So this is the agreement requesting that council authorize the mayor and I sign that.
Any questions? Okay. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2022-31. All in favor? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Scampanella, seconded by Councillor Moffat, being a bylaw to provide for the payment of remuneration for members of council for the corporation of the Township of Manitowoc. We read it first and second time.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. You'll recall that we had a discussion a few meetings ago with regard to remuneration for the next term of council. Council did vote for a 20% increase, and so we advised council that we would bring back a bylaw following that discussion. So that's what's in front of you tonight.
Questions? Saying none. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2022-32. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Rolla, seconded by Councillor Scampanella, being a bylaw to enter into a contribution agreement with the Federal Economic Development Agency of Ontario as represented by the Ministry of Indigenous Services and Minister responsible for Federal Economic Development Agency of Northern Ontario Tourism Relief Fund. Be read a first and second time.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, we were advised this week through FedNor of a small grant that was approved for upgrades to the clubhouse to relocate the Travel Information Center to that site. This will allow be a more central hub, and we'll do a few renovations to the main floor of the clubhouse where we have staff located at the moment, and we'll have a number of items that visitors can buy with regard to souvenirs for Manitowoc. And we are still assisting the museum with summer student staffing. So it's just that the museum would not be the location of the Travel Information Center. And we do have staffing available at the museum as well as the clubhouse.
Through the chair. With all that, can we get proper signage from the time coming into town to say where that information center will be?
Sure.
That would be
we will
lovely.
make that happen.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair, with having staffing at both locations, could we not have a little bit of information at both locations?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2022-33. All in favor? There are no motions or notion of motions, and there's no closed session, so moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Scampanella, being bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Township of Manitowoc at its meeting held on Wednesday, July 13th, 2022, be read a first and second time. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2022-34. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Moffat, seconded by Councillor Roll, resolved that the regular meeting adjourn at the hour of 7:23. All in favor?